Hey guys, it's me again. Today I'm bringing you guys a Barbarian King user's manual. This will be really helpful if you don't know how to use your Barbarian King, but it's also helpful if you're an advanced player too. It'll really help you out and improve your attacks, and I hope you enjoy. While I'm talking, I'm just going to play some war replays in the background, so let's get started. First, you need to know how to utilize your king at his current level. So, whatever level your king is, he's definitely good to add to your army, but there's certain rules you should go by depending on what level your king is. If your king is levels 1 through 5, this is Town Hall 7 level, you should probably be using your king as a tank and just adding some extra damage per second into your army. Now, what you want to do is use your king to back up some giants if you're using giants in an attack. Just take him and plop him down. He's not going to be much use, but he's still definitely going to add some extra power into your army, and who wouldn't want that? Now, if your king is between levels 5 and 10, you want to use him as a damage dealing troop. So, this is typically Town Hall 8 level. You're going to want to send him in with your Valks and with your P.E.K.K.A.s. Any damage dealing troops you're going to want to send him in with, because he's just going to add some extra emphasis into that power, and hopefully he'll help bring out your army a little. If your king is higher than level 10, you want to use him as a tank for your Archer Queen and any other troops like your wizards. So basically, you want to send him in as if he's a golem. He'll be tanking for the main damage that's coming at your troops, while your Archer Queen and Wizards will help add some extra damage per second into that attack. So normally you don't want to send the king in all by himself, like maybe with a golem or two, but definitely he's going to be used more as a tank than a damage dealer. Alright guys, so now we're going to be going into the AI of the Barbarian King. This is really useful to know for any level king, because it'll really help you out when you're attacking, and you never know when you might need some of this information. So the first thing you need to know is the king will always target the closest thing to him within an 8-tile range. So what that means is where he's standing, 8 tiles in any direction from him, the closest thing he's going to target. Now, that's why sometimes he'll try to break through walls when it doesn't make sense, because it's the thing that makes sense to him. The second thing you need to know is that if he's targeting clan castle troops or skeleton traps, he's gonna finish attacking every single one of them until he starts attacking buildings again. So what this means is if he gets triggered by a skeleton or a clan castle troop or a defending hero, he's gonna kill them and then kill any other troops that are defending before he starts attacking buildings again. The last thing that you need to know is that he will not be very consistent in his artificial intelligence. He likes to sometimes do things that aren't very logical, but that's just how the game works and how the code of the game is made. So there's not much you can do to change it, except playing around with your king and getting to know what he's going to do. So now that you know the basics, we're going to start going into the fun stuff about the king. So the first thing that I've planned to tell you guys is when you should use his ability. Now, using the king's ability is very important during any attack. You want to make sure you're always paying attention to him, have your eye on him, so that way you never miss his ability, because it's really important and it adds a ton of extra damage into your attack. You want to use the king's ability whenever he's at medium to low health, so within that orange range. That way, he won't be wasting any of the health that you're getting out of the ability, and he'll also be bringing a ton of new power into your attack. You also want to make sure that you use your ability when your king is near defenses, so that way he'll take them out before they can take him out. So now that we've covered basically everything, we're going to start getting into the do's and don'ts of using your king. So some things that you want to make sure that you're doing with your king is level him up. Level him up as often as you can, max him out as soon as you can, because he really adds so much power into your attack. You can't even realize it, but he makes up a pretty big chunk of your army when you break it all down. So make sure you're leveling him up as often as you can, and farm your Dark Elixir as fast as possible. You also have to make sure that you're using your king efficiently, and that he's making the most of every hit he gets in every attack. So what this means is don't deploy your king around the outside of the base. Send him in with your main kill squad, so that way he can do as much damage as possible. You should also make sure that you're funneling your king properly, so that way he goes in with the rest of your troops and starts taking out buildings in the center. Because if your king starts going around the outside, that's really not good for your attack, because you're wasting so much potential for damage. During air attacks, you want to make sure that you save your king until the end, or use him in the very beginning. This way, you can set a plan for him to either take out the enemy archer queen maybe, or he can clean up afterwards in the end. You don't want to send him in right in the middle of it, because it could ruin the attack if your king dies without doing much. Now that we've covered what you should do with your king, we have to cover what you should never do. The first thing that you should never, ever, ever do is you should never leave him be. By this, I mean you should always be upgrading him. Don't neglect your king. He's super important, and if you neglect him when you're a Town Hall 7 or a Town Hall 8, you're really going to be missing out on a lot, because he adds so much potential to your attack, and you're really going to need him. You should also never let your king die in an attack without using his ability. His ability is one of the things that separates him from just a normal troop. His ability gives you some more control over the battle. You want to make sure you're saving your ability for the right moment, so that way you can add some extra attack power into your raid to help your troops out. The last thing that I want to make very clear is that you should make sure you're using your king properly. If you're not using your king to deal damage and tank, you're not using him right. He should be a tank troop, not just a wasted troop. So guys, we've covered about everything that I can. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and I plan on making an Archer Queen user's manual pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.